Good day, everyone. Welcome to this special episode we are having on the 75th celebration of our podcast, Reflections with Ranjan. And today I have a very special guest, so that will come for later on. But together we will try to explore evolving work, the world which is changing, the change of work, change of workforce, and change of workplace, the talent, everything we would like to explore. Uh, we all know that a workflow, the workplace today or the entire working environment today is experiencing a lot of changes. So, with that, how exactly the youngsters who are coming in, the people who are passing out from the colleges, or the people who would like to come over, how they will respond to these new scenarios. So I think that's what we will like to base our entire discussions on. And this profound shift, which is again been triggered by artificial intelligence and technological shifts, which is happening. I probably think that there's the right time that people should be ready and people should feel good about doing something different what they had been doing. So I don't know, these are all my views, but we'll have our discussions with the special guest that we have. So I'm extremely delighted to be joined by Mr. Ayush Gupta, who is Director HR of GAIL India Limited. And of course, who doesn't know Mr. Gupta in Indian Circle? I think he's an authority both in business as well as HR. So this is a very rare combination, Mr. Gupta. In fact, the way he has changed the face of HR in GAIL, and of course, in entire public sector and private sector scenarios, that he's well respected and it's so kind of him that with just a small request he agreed to be in this episode. So Mr. Gupta, just to tell you that we have this Reflections with Ranjan normally today is the 75th episode, so the Diamond Jubilee. So I'm so happy, so humbled that you have agreed to be here. So today it is not Reflections with Ranjan, it's Reflections with Ayush. So that is how we will take it. And we will go together, see whatever time we have together, we'll try to decode how things will be moving and how people should be coping up with these scenarios. So anything you would like to say before I start asking you question or anything?
First of all, very much thank you for the kind words you have spoken about me. I think whatever I am able to do today is because of the guidance and advice that I received, or the mentorship I received from seniors like you in my career, and for which I'll be ever grateful. So I'm trying to do my bit based on whatever my experience and learning from the industry is, with the objective of, one, keeping the professional development high, and also to contribute back to the society or to the industry what they have given me in last 33 years of my professional career. So that is what an attempt I am trying
you
to
are
make.
doing a great job. I think we all are truly proud of you, and I'm sure the actions or the activities that are being carried out uh, are being observed very keenly by everybody else, how the differences can take place. So that's why thank you very much. We are all extremely proud of this. Okay, but I think we'll just start with, I thought first, the point which I spoke of, the changing workforce. So we'll try to touch upon the changing workforce. See, these expectations and as well as the mindset of these people are changing, other people changing, and there is always an aspirations by everybody, whoever is joining new, or even the people who are in the colleges and all. So this is also changing. So how is it different? How the aspirations, how the expectations of this young generation is different from when we were young, and how organizations are coping up with that?
So on that aspect, what I feel, I have a little bit different opinion in terms of when we talk about that expectation and aspirations of the generation today is changing from what we used to have when we joined the industry 30 years back. On first part, I believe that the basic expectation remains the same. What when we joined the job or when somebody, a new youngster is joining the job today, the basic value of feeling respected and valued at the workplace has not changed, and I don't think it's going to change ever. That's going to remain the same eternally. So that is one thing. So when we joined, we wanted that okay, we should be valued at job, we should be given opportunity, we should be given respect, our opinion should be valued and given due recognition. And I believe that is true for anyone who is joining the workforce today or yesterday, or who will be joining tomorrow. But in terms of what is changing, there is definitely a shift, there is definitely a change, and that is not just to do with the individual personality or the people, it is also in terms of the what nature of opportunities which is available to them. When we were studying, we were doing our engineering or graduation, there were only 2 or 3 professions or industries we were. The options were either you to be engineer or to be a doctor, or if you are not able to do, then do commerce or do become an advocate. Possibly these were the 4 things which were being talked about in families. And if nothing works, you the parents used to say, we'll buy a shop and you'll have to sit here. So that was the, on the lighter side, that was what was being told to the children at this time, at that point of time. But today, even if we look at within our families, the kind of freedom and options we provide to our children is, or which are available in the out there in the industry, are very, very different in terms of what kind of courses to be done, what kind of career to be chosen. We used to say, aapne job shuru kar liya, so you'll be there for 10, 15 years, 20 years. Now that is not the scenario. They are ready to change within 6 months, 1 year, 2 years time frame. They don't want to stick. If they are not liking it, they'll come upon your face and say, I don't like the job. Or even on the first day, they may come and say, I am not liking the place, I am not liking the kind of work being offered, I'll go. I am ready to go. I am happy to sit for 6 months and try and explore other areas before taking a job. So that is one thing which is a mindset or the kind of opportunities which are available to them, because of which they are able to take that risk. That I can sit idle, I can prepare for MBA or higher studies or change my job frequently, because there's a backing available from my family. Even if it is not there, then other opportunities, I'm sure if I have the qualification, I have the experience, there's no dearth of opportunities for good people. So that brings a major change in terms of their stability or continuing with the job. Second shift which is happening in terms of the expectations is, today's generation is possibly a 2-minute Maggie noodle generation, where everything is what is expected is instant gratification, instant acknowledgement, instant appreciation, or instant rewards, which may or may not happen in every company. Some companies are changing to that effect. They are providing that kind of a 2-minute gratification, but many industries, it's not possible practically to judge or to provide that kind of instant results or rewards is also not a very good thing to be there. So that again is one thing, that expectation is quick. In 2 minutes, things should be there. The decision should be in 2 minutes. If they are coming with an idea and a proposal, they would expect the decision to be taken in quick manner. Third major shift, which is again from what when we entered and to when the new people are entering the generation workforce today, is in terms of the digital outreach which is available. That today's even a 4-year or 5-year-old kid is more adept in using the digital devices than people in our, what we were or what we are today, even what we are today. So that technological shift which has happened, so when again that gets related to the 2-minute thing also, because they are so quick on even on mobile or laptop or working on an Excel sheet or whatever assignment is given to them. So matching that pace between the generations, that becomes a challenge, and that is where at times they feel disconnected. So that feeling of disconnect between across the generations or people at workflows also kind of leads to some kind of a disconnect or dissatisfaction at the workplace, where because of the digital technology, because of the awareness, because of the opportunities available, they feel in a very quick span they start feeling disconnected when they join the workforce, and then they would like to look for avenues. Again, when I joined my job, I was not, frankly speaking, I was not liking the place where I got my campus placement. And I reached there for quite few days. I felt like I am not at a wrong place. And I need to go back. But I didn't have any other opportunities. So I had to stay back, work towards looking for the opportunities, look for okay MBA करना है, for other jobs apply करना है. So it was at a slow pace. But today, if somebody joins in a place like that, or if he is not happy, possibly he will leave in a day or in a week or a month. They will no longer be there.
He'll leave even if there is no opportunity. He
Even
may
if
leave.
there is no opportunity. And again, I'll not blame them totally. Even if their parents are there, we as parents, we feel that my son or daughter is not comfortable, is in a remote place, he or she is not liking the workplace. Possibly we'll advise them, beta chhod ke aa jao. We are there for an MBA. So that kind of comfort is also available. So we as a society or the family also somewhere is responsible for that kind of encouraging that shift.
It is also another thing which I'm also getting out from you is that the base has not changed.
Base has
not
never
changed.
Change.
It will never change also. Definitely. Those expectations will always be there. That will be there. That aspiration will always be there. But only thing, how you do it is changing. How fast, the speed of things and everything, all those are changing.
If you are able to take care of two basic things, then rest of the things does not matter. If they feel respected, they feel valued. The periphery doesn't
matter. Really.
They will stay back. They will stay back whatever you do. Even in the remotest place, in a most difficult situation, they will stick.
If we are talking of that, just I'm taking one step further. So how does an organization create that culture or foster that culture so that at least you belong to this, or how do we, knowing all these requirements which are there, how does an organization create it? And how, with your examples, whatever you have done in Gale or other places, how do you really see that?
It's not an easy task.
Absolutely, it is not. It's very easy to say.
Developing that understanding that this is what is the change, this is what the expectation of the younger generation is. Because good or bad, we tend to remain in our own era. Or aura. Whatever you say, era or aura.
Both together.
This is what we used to do. This is how the things used to work. And this is the best way to work at. You need to divide so much of time, and you need to be consistent, you need to be on time, you have to be disciplined, and you have to follow the dress code. And we feel that is the best thing to be done. But today's generation want freedom, they want autonomy, they want, as I said, quick results. And if we are not able to bridge the gap, that gap will always be there, but then the efforts have to be to bridge the gap. And the first thing is for us as seniors in the organization is to understand that this gap is natural. Because we we expect everything to change from the other side without changing our own selves. So the first is the appreciation and acknowledgement of this gap, and that something needs to be done. Second thing is creating an ecosystem within the organization, be it the latest hardware or the technology with which people are comfortable of working with. And secondly, creating the policies and procedures framework around it, which gives enough flexibility for people to work at the workplace as well as look forward to a continuing career in the organization. Because that is one thing that will help them to stick or stay around. Because if they don't see their future for next 2 to 3 years or 5 years, they don't have a clarity within the organization. I feel that is one area because of which people tend to leave or tend to shift from one organization to another, because they lack clarity. And The most important part which comes now is in terms of what kind of job roles and responsibilities are being given. For us at that time, whatever was given, I don't think we ever questioned that whether this is my job or not, whether this is to be done by me or not. But then with the kind of qualifications and degrees and expectations they are coming in, they are very clear what is to be done by me, what is not to be done by me, and that understanding of what job can be given to a youngster and what is not to be given, what we should not ask them to do. They feel that this is after doing an MBA from a premier college, and I see my counterparts working in multinational companies or other companies. So what is to be done and what is not to be done is again something which needs to be fostered, and as a culture we need to define clearly that okay, this is what we'll expect them to do. And one challenge which comes in the process is in terms of meeting the expectations is that today, unfortunately, most of the younger generation, I should not generalize, but that is what we are experiencing, is people are not ready to work in remote locations or away from cities and metros. So how do you encourage them to be there to gain the ground level experience and to motivate them to be there, provide them rotations? And again, the question of clarity will come. Okay, you are there for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, thereafter you shift to other roles. So if you are able to provide that clarity to them, that this is not a permanent location or the role that has been given to you, you will have ample opportunities. So creating that path and vision for any professional, I think that there lies the trick of how you can connect well with them.
With the way. Well, that's what I think. Probably that's what you are right. I also have seen that they need a lot of clarity. I mean, in fact, just to slightly deviate from you, on the 50th episode, we had an interaction with Dr. Patty Phillips. We were talking about what is the difference between our generation and new generation. She also told exactly about this, that our generations accepted everything. Probably this generation is a good generation which is questioning, which is at least asking you the correct question. So that's how. So you have to give clarity. You have to give.
And if you don't have answers to their questions, then there's a problem.
Then absolutely it is over. That's right. That is very right. When we were talking about technology, we are talking about skill sets and all these things we are talking about. So, as for you, what are your recommendations that the skills or mindset that this new generation should have, which will help them not only for today, but for, let's say, next decade at least, they will be able to carry through. What is your recommendation from your experience?
See, first thing which I feel which will help the younger generation or even the older generation to excel in their career is in terms of ownership. And that is the first and foremost. Whatever job I do, still today, whatever we say, they have plenty of options, opportunities available in the market. Getting a job is not easy in India. Whatever, and it's not coming by choice. Very few people will be able to take up job of their choice, that in terms of location, in terms of company, in terms of perks and facilities, in terms of the job assignment, something or the other will be missing. And if you don't own the job, that okay, whatever I have received, I have to give my best, I have to work till I am able to get a new opportunity or a place or a company, I have to own the job and perform my best. So that feeling of ownership or the skill of owning the job is, I feel, if we are able to inculcate that will help. Rest of the things will fall through, will get connected. That is the first thing. Second thing is, while I said that they want clarity, they want expectations, how to have realistic expectations in a workplace. We can all have a wish list of I want stars, but I need to know I am not going, whatever hard work I do, whatever efforts I make, I am not going to get stars. And it's kind of an unrealistic expectation I am developing at a workplace. If I am joining a company X, which has a plant in a manufacturing plant at a remote location, what to expect out of it? Where there are no malls, there are no cinema halls or marketplaces. The day I am joining, I know I am not going to get this. So if I am not comfortable, let me either not join the place. But after joining and complaining about it, it's not going to help. Once I have accepted that role, I accepted that company or the location, I have to give my best.
Correct.
So that is the second thing in terms of how do I manage my own expectations from myself or from my peers or from my seniors is the second thing. And the third most important thing which I feel is important, and that there again from earlier generation and this generation the again question comes, is in terms of tolerance levels, in terms of acceptability of difference of opinion. Respecting the difference of opinion between our peers, within our family, or within the organization is another skill which we need to, all of us need to develop, but especially this 2-minute generation needs to understand that everything doesn't come quick. There are certain things which will take time and which needs to be given time to have a better fruits or sweet fruits to bear with. So I think
That's great. That is, in fact, I'm remembering I had um, the opportunity of meeting Sheryl Sandberg, who was CEO of. So I just met her once. Just we were discussing something about this job, same thing. And she told something. I don't know whether she has really quoted it from any of her books or not. I have not seen that. She told, I think I always advise that do the job you love or love the job you do. If you first is the first option, definitely it's the first option, that if you are really, if you can get a job of your dream job and everything, then it's okay. But as long as you are in that job, the job now you are doing, please do what you told.
The paradox here is that we say that you do the job you love, but very soon when you get that job, that love goes away. What to do then?
That's what
I feel I love this job. I would like to.
Then I found out
I would like to work in Gale, but as soon as I join within a month or 2 months, I feel that no, this is not what I love. I wanted
some realizations.
Some realization. So what to do then? Then the second part will be that you have to love what you have got.
What you have got it now. We have been talking about jobs and all, but these days I see, I mean, as you must have also seen, and we are also creating an ecosystem to nurture that. There are many people who are also would like to go for entrepreneurship. They would like to become entrepreneur. They would like to become job creators than job seekers. So these are two groups which are there. What would be your advice to this group of people who would like, from the very beginning of it? In fact, we were discussing yesterday also. I'm mentoring a few startups. I see a lot of passion in them, but they had decided in them, but they still don't know how to maneuver things or how to go through the new scenarios and all. They don't know. So, what would be your advice to those budding entrepreneurs, and how do they really?
And I'll go a little backwards, right? Starting from the entrepreneurs or from the young generation who want to take up a career as a startup entrepreneur or creating jobs. What is being taught to them at the college level or the institution level? A lot of encouragement, buzz about startup is there across the world, and especially in India, where the institutions also are encouraging them to start their own ventures. But possibly the whole picture is not being given to them. We are only focusing on few successful startups or the kind of opportunities it can open up, but we are not preparing them to prepare for the challenges which are going to face when they launch their startups. We have seen so many stories of startups getting highly successful, getting millions of funding and all those things, but within 4 to 5 years, 6 years, terribly failing. From HR, we are from HR, and I must talk of HR point of view in that failures or success. How do you ensure compliance?
Correct.
You are only after success. You are only after seeing the figures or numbers, numericals, but forgetting what the compliance needs to be done. You need to, what is governance, what is compliance, or how do you comply with rules and regulations? And one non-compliance can shut you down, shut you down and bring you back to zero. Unless we teach them, and that awareness is there, that it's not just a cherries on the ice cream, but it's also there are thorns in the along with the rosebud, which I need to take care of, is something which is important from them to understand from the very day they start thinking of building a startup. And how do they form that team that can take care of it in terms of, one is technology, one is administration, one is governance, somebody is financing. So building up that team or ecosystem where they don't fail on any part of the business is, I think, for the long-term success of a startup is really important. Maybe their numbers will not grow that high in the beginning, but then if they have a strong foundation, then they can ensure
Very true.
it to sustain for a long period.
Actually, that's what you say is very right. For every 99, for every one successful startup, there are 99 failures.
That
But
is not what
still,
we've been
even
taught by
within
the
from
academic.
from those 99 also, people have bounced back. They have come up with
They
something.
bounce back. They really learn how to. There's
exactly.
immense learning even in failure.
Yes,
But then,
absolutely.
are they prepared for that failure?
You have to, okay.
Are they ready? Okay, if we fail, we'll start up again. We'll make a shift, we'll change.
Correct.
Or we'll give ourselves a time of 5 years. If we are able to succeed, okay, but otherwise we'll go back to the job and do something else. That kind of a clarity at times we are not able to provide as a society or as academics, or the business ecosystem is not providing that clarity.
That also, don't you think also, that also brings back to our main focus these days. Government also is insisting, institutes are, there has to be more and more industry academia interface. Or when I say industry, it is not only the job for the job point of view, even the successful startups, failed startups can become mentors to these students. I think that is will work.
That is, again, that has not changed over a period of years.
Yes.
Industry academia collaboration, interaction, we have been talking it for years, but unfortunately,
not
that
the way
magic is not working.
Exactly.
That is not happening.
Exactly.
The way it should be, what we feel as industry should be, is quite different what academia expect us from as an industry. That even the expectation mismatches there. What academia expects from us or what we expect from academia, we are not able to come to the same terms. For ages, we have limited it to providing internships to the students.
That's what we feel that is.
Or going as visiting faculty, taking one or two guest lectures.
That's all.
That is where the industry academia interaction stops. And maybe some good things are in terms of joint research projects or capstone projects which are being done. That is a brighter side of it, but then that too is in a very limited space. But one thing which critically is missing, the faculty having the industry experience.
Correct.
Being in the industry for a long period is something which is required more, and for that a system needs to be created.
Well, okay. We had talked about these failures, whether it is in entrepreneurship, all these startup failures, or failures in studies and other activities as well. And as you told, this generation is 2 minutes, so they are very quick to realize that there is a lot of effect on the mental well-being of the youngsters. We are seeing that. What are your views on that, and how? Number one is that how those people can cope up with that, and number two is how we can help them in coping.
See, interestingly, that is one area which over the past 30 years of my working in Gale, the way the shift is happening, the way we are experiencing it in terms of the increasing number of issues related to mental health, or what I call as a physical, emotional and mental well-being of the people around you. It's not just physical well-being. Now the more and more focus is on emotional and mental well-being. Mental comes later. Before that is the emotional well-being, how you are able to control your emotions and reactions and responses to a particular situation. And again, I have a bit of a different view or take on how do you look at it from the past and now. So past, we used to live in joint families.
Yes.
We had 8 to 10 people in the family, and when the kid or the individual, whether it's father, mother, or the children, when they used to come back from school or from office or from any other place, and if they were stressed, there was something bothering them at the workplace or in a school, or the results are not, there was somebody or else in the family whom they could confide in and talk to them and download whatever their stress was during the day.
Correct.
But today we are in a nuclear family. The husband, wife both are working. If the kid is there, he goes to the school, he has a bad day. When he comes back home, there's no one whom he or she can share her thoughts with or his thoughts with. And that is where it starts building up. Within the school, the friends have no time. You're latched to digital devices. If you have to pour out your emotions, it's coming on social media rather than coming between the discussing, and then social media is full of misguidance and different videos which influences their thoughts and misguides them to a wrong direction, that it's not a good parenting that has been done, that is why you are feeling this way. It's one of the instances. Or you have to fight, you have to express your views, and you have to be strong, and then the things take a different direction. So that is one area which is, again, because of which these things are increasing. That's on the family side. Similarly, at the workplace or at the college level, something what I have in my past 7-8 years, I must have interviewed more than 7,000, 8,000 candidates for the recruitment. And what I observe in terms of developing a deep bond with your faculty or with your peers and students, a simple example, when we ask somebody coming as a fresher for the interview, that what are the kind of books, which authors, books you have studied in your first year, second year, or a basic thing from first year, second year, 70% or 80% of the candidates will not be able to answer the name of the author of a very famous book which they would have studied in their first year or second year, or the basics of that subject. Their answer would be, sir, ye to first year mein padha tha, ab yaad hai. Common answer would be that. But even after 30 years, we remember those books, the titles, their authors, who were our faculty members, who taught us what. Even at the school time, we remember that. And with some of those teachers and professors who we liked, we still have a connection. But is that happening today? Possibly not. So it talks about how I am building up the relationships with people around me, not just family, at my school level, at my university level, and at my workplace level. So if I don't have those relationships, bonds, then again, my venting out or sharing my thoughts, or good or bad, even on happiness, if I'm extremely happy and if I'm not able to share that happiness with anyone, it creates stress in me. It affects my mental health, because I have not been able to vent out that excitement also, not just sadness. So both ways it affects the mental well-being or emotional well-being of a person. So how do we take care of it? The workplace is something what we have been trying for past 2 years at Gale also, to how to create more awareness about that emotional well-being or mental well-being, because physical we concentrate a lot.
Yes.
Sports career, all such career, we do a lot focusing on physical, although more needs to be done, but then several years the emotional and mental well-being was being overlooked. So at an organization level now, people are saying have an online counselor or counseling, all those things are being there, but then what is again missing is how do we create that relationship at the workplace? How do we create that bonds, that somebody is your friend at the workplace whom you can talk anything and everything, be it your mentor, be it your team member, be it your superior, be it your senior. If I have one person in my workplace to whom and I can go confide and say anything, blur out anything, and then feel safe, I think the moment we are able to vent out, half the problem is solved. And if somebody can guide me better in that, that's so much better. Then the entire
That's very
problem
true.
can
That
go.
is very true. That's very true. That's why I think when we started this buddy system, that somebody will be a buddy, so that you can. But what happens again? It has to be both way.
It has to
The
be
body
both.
has to be also ready to accept, the concerned employee or concerned youngster also has to be ready to confide.
People don't open up today.
Yeah, it's very
All
difficult
of us
to open
are
up.
very shy of sharing our own vulnerabilities
Yes.
at whatever level,
Yeah,
even at
correct.
the senior most level to the
You don't
youngest
have.
level.
Sharing vulnerability that's a very fabulous thing. Okay, I think we have almost covered whatever I thought we will try to cover. One last area: how learning is important. How learning is important for all this, everything that we are talking of. At the paramount, you all also advocated. I know I have always advocated during my period. We have always advocated learning is extremely important. You have to be a lifelong learner. So how do we really bring it to them? How do we really, like you talked about books? They're not remembering the authors. Similar questions. I teach in some IIMs. I ask them, how many books have you read recently? What recently? For 6 months, 1 year, and all, people have not. At least 90% of the people have not read any book. So they're into their virtual world. That's all they have not read. So anyway, so my little question: how do you feel learning? Learning is important. No. How can that be imbibed in this?
Before I answer that, let me admit, if you had asked me that question, that which book I have read in last 1 year, I would have said, drawn a blank.
No,
So-
because
so
you are busy.
So I am one person who does not. Well, if you give me a book and
This is
book,
of course
I
personal.
won't be able to do. I have not
Yeah.
read many books as such, but then it's not, learning is not just coming from the book,
It's
and
just
whether
one. Exactly.
whether I say it or not, whether I acknowledge it or not, I am learning every moment in my life. Every moment I am sitting here with you, lot of learnings during this discussion, during this podcast happening. I have learned at least 4 or 5 things. Even in an unconscious mind, that learning goes
Correct.
with me. So that is one part. So how do I, again, in a particular situation, if I am doing it with an open mindset, I can learn a lot of things. If I keep my mind closed, I am talking to you, but my mind is somewhere else, there will be no learning. I have to be present in the moment to get best out of that situation and to learn. So even if I am reading a book, if I am not present in that moment
then
in that book, there will be zero learning from that
Absolutely.
book. And that
You are
is
right.
where it comes, when people don't remember the author or content of the book, because they were not present in that classroom when the book was being taught,
Correct.
when the discussions were happening. That is why they don't remember. If they were present, I am sure there's nothing that can take away that learning from them. So practicing to be present in the moment, in what you are doing, what you are reading, if you are in a training session or in a conference session, being present in that moment and getting involved in that topic and interacting, asking questions, replying back, trying to answer the question being asked by the faculty member or by the author or the presenter. एज दिस है ना, आप एक बार किसी चीज को अपने हाथ से लिख लेते हो तो आप जिंदगी भर नहीं भूलते हो. आप पढ़ते हो तो शायद याद नहीं रहता, बट द मोमेंट यू राइट इट और इम्बाइब इट. कि साइकिल चलाना, एक बार साइकिल आपको थ्योरी में कोई चलाना सिखाएगा, साइकिल आप चलाना नहीं सीखोगे अनलेस यू प्रैक्टिस इट. और ड्राइविंग ए कार, सो it's like that. Learning is that. So you have to learn, you have to practice and keep practicing.
No, that's so true. That is what I think all those youngsters who are hearing you speaking on all this definitely must be introspecting themselves, that what they can do also. I mean, what little changes. We are not talking of big changes, what you would like to do. Small changes in your activity, small changes in your action, small changes in your habits can make a huge difference at the end of the day. Somebody had sent recently all this WhatsApp thing that if you are changing one good thing within you every hour or every day, then you are making 365 new changes in a year, which is huge in our life. Just one change. So
I can just quote one example from my own life in terms of my college education. When I was in the classroom, I would say I was fully present in the classroom. And I would have missed very few classes at the college level. And whatever the faculty was teaching, the professor was taking, each and every word I was trying to understand and make notes there and then. It was whether even with, I take pride ki how with being an electrical engineer, if a RBY diagram is being made, so I used to have a 3 colored pen and the notes were made instantly with those colors.
That's great.
And after that, after the classroom, if somebody would say before the exams or during the day, I would complete the assignments, but before the exam, somebody will say I'll be doing night out, studying for 4 hours, 5 hours. I hardly did that. Let me admit that. But I was able to pass with good marks because whenever I was in the classroom, I had full attention to what was being taught. That probably helped me to retain that knowledge, and when the examinations were there, I was able to reply to that, and I still remember most of those things.
You have told again for my young audience, it's be in the present always,
that is
wherever
most
you
important.
are. That's something great which is good. Okay, before we end, I would just ask you some rapid fire questions. I just want
I was just expecting that.
No, that's what I didn't tell you that I'll ask this. So I'll ask you this rapid. I want one word answer. One skill every student must master.
I think we come back to being present at that moment.
Being present. Okay. 8. One leadership trait that defines the future.
Ownership.
Very good. Work-life balance or work-life integration?
I think both.
Great. AI in careers, opportunity or threat?
Big opportunity.
Very good. One value you will never compromise on.
Integrity.
Wow. One advice to the younger generation in 3 words. I'm just giving you slightly leverage with that. Or rather, I'll put it like this. One advice to your younger self when Ayush was younger. One advice to the younger self in 3 words.
Multiple things, but since you have asked one, let me just think what is more important than among others is. I'll say in today's context, in terms of what we discussed, and if we have to summarize, is in terms of managing your own expectations from your own self. What I observed is both ways. Either I've just explained it further so that it brings clarity to it, is that many times I see people having very high expectations from our own selves without realizing my own capabilities or the resources to achieve it. And then if I am not able to achieve that, or maybe I'm a perfectionist, if I'm not able to get that, I become demotivated and stop working, stop learning at that moment. So that is, or the other way around. I am capable of doing it, but I don't have a confidence and belief in myself that I can do it. So having too low expectations or too high expectations for my own self is one challenge I think many of the youngsters are facing, and if we can manage that well, it's okay to be a normal average person at the workplace and do well in the life. Being consistent may give you better results than being a higher flyer.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ayush.
Thank you so much.
And really, the way you have covered every aspect of it, giving different views. I think probably this is what somebody listening to this can get a 360-degree view of what one should be doing, how one should be doing, and when one should be doing. So thank you very much. And you have just created also, emphasized on that there is no change in the basic, but you have to also do on, human spirit or curiosity or learning and all these things also to be really re-emphasized on. So thanks a lot to all of you. The youngsters or the budding entrepreneurs and students and budding job seekers who are also listening to this podcast. You must realize that the future doesn't belong to the fastest or the strongest or the smartest. It belongs to something which Ayush has very nicely told, that it belongs to the people who are present at the moment and who are also agile, adaptable, ethical, and are able to really look with a very open eyes and have learning as a part of them, as completely ingrained into them. So, Ayushji, thank you once again for your time, and I'm really grateful. And today, this reversal of role also I have enjoyed a lot in having this podcast with you. I am sure your views and your takes, which you have given with your valued experience, with your long experience and hands-on experience at all the points of time, will be so helpful to each one of us. I also have carried a lot of things, as you told 4 5 things. I have also carried a lot of things today. I will definitely implement it in future some point of time. Thank you. Until that time, stay inspired, stay curious, stay long. Thank you very much.